Do you want to be the person who gives that it's us or them speech, or do you want to be that person who's like, actually, we might have done some things historically, there's lots of other contexts, how can we stop this, how can we solve this together? The legacy stuff is really important.
Legacy / history of refugees, histories of immigration. We spoke about Brixton down the road from where we are as well, and the history there. So legacy of this issue of refugees and immigration has happened, or the history of it is wide, and we've always moved around the planet.
Yeah.
Oh, you got any more of these comfortable ass Louis XIV chairs in there?
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chosen Wisdom.
And it's your girl, Divergent Curl.
Yes, sir, and we are back, Divergent Wisdom. We are back with another reaction, and this time it is the season finale of
Secret Invasion.
Yes, Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion. Listen, this one, I have seen some reviews and I have seen a little bit of controversy, and I have seen that not everyone has liked this series. So this one is going to be very interesting. Yes, we are going to react to the season finale and also give you our review of the season as a whole. And not just the typical review, but hopefully a review from a neurodivergent perspective, which is the whole point of this channel. We are both neurodivergent. We like to think about things differently. We like to think about topics, and we like to explore themes of these shows, not just point out little, I don't know,
Easter eggs.
Easter
that
eggs.
that's not cool, but the way our brains work, we see things on like a macro and a micro level at the same time. So for us, exploring those themes and exploring it in like a really intimate way, and then looking at a bigger picture and seeing how it applies to real life, that is very interesting and fascinating for sure for us. And also a lot of you guys who join us and conversate with us each week. So we really appreciate you.
So this is what would you say, this is a drama, espionage, political thriller?
Yeah, I would say
You'd say that
covers all of those. It's not, I mean, it's got action in it, but it's definitely going down that sort of political thriller drama.
Yeah.
Like Homeland,
House of Cardish sort of thing. So I see where Marvel are trying to go with this. I see what they're trying to do with this. They're trying to give us different shows for different types of people who want to watch different things, not just the typical superhero stuff. And because of that, the typical superhero Marvel comic book fan might not, in my opinion, appreciate something like this, which is more subtle. You know, so there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. From the first episode to the fifth episode, we've seen a lot of drama, a lot of characters, a lot of choices being made by certain characters, a lot of things being revealed in the past that we didn't know before. And of course, like I said, at the end, we're going to review the whole series and talk about the themes such as immigration.
Refugees, asylum seeking, you know, what it means to, do you assimilate in a culture? Can you not bring yourself, your true self? The Skrulls want to show their face. They want to be who they really are. And the way that they've kind of mirrored that struggle across not just the Skrulls oppression, but looking actually across human oppression. I think Nick Fury mentions, he's talking about Nazis and Brixton and being a haven for West Indian people, which is true. And we don't live that far from South London and Brixton. So for us, we're able to see a lot of the reality and the real and how it flips into real life. And, you know, with world events currently, there's a lot of kind of stuff that can be dissected. That for kind of relate. And
this is very relatable to what's happening currently. As we're not going to go into any detail, but what's happening currently in a certain part of the world with, you know, refugees and immigration and wars
and finding a home and right to your land, and it's
all of these things. It's got parallels and really deep meaning. So we're going to make these kind of connections in our review. So we're just giving you guys a taster of what we're going to talk about later on in this review, once we review the whole entire series as a piece, rather than react to each individual episode. We haven't reacted to every single episode, and in fact, we've only reacted to the first episode. So if you haven't watched our reaction to the first episode, please go and do so. Just check it out. Hear what we have to say. It's been a long time. It's been a long, I wouldn't say long series. It's been a 6-part series, but it's been very detailed. And if you don't sort of pay attention to something like this, which is more detailed than I guess Marvel might do, you might not see the plot. You might not like it. You might not enjoy it. You might just be waiting for action. And if all you're doing is waiting for action and superheroes to fly and save the day, I don't think this might be the series for you. But hey, we've enjoyed it so far. We've liked it. It's been a change from the norm, as we've said before. So we can't wait to find out how they conclude. I assume the Skrulls are not going to take over the world.
Yeah.
Right.
So that would be I don't think they're going to do that.
No. And I'm enjoying seeing Nick Fury like this. I think there's one common theme throughout the whole series is that Nick Fury has lost it. He's past it. He's old. He's not the same. He can't do the things he used to do. This centers Nick. And I think this is about Nick showing everybody that, you know what? I still got this.
Yeah.
I could still do this on my own, by myself even.
Absolutely. And that makes me think of that scene where he's talking to the MI5 woman who loves Stormzy. And he talks about the fact that his power is what his single mother gave him between his 2 ears.
Yep.
So he's talking about his brain, and what the love of a woman wrapped around his finger gave him. And he's talking about his wife.
Yeah.
So he talks about what his power is and where he gets his strength from.
I think that's another reason why a lot of people love Fury. He's not. His power is this.
Yeah.
But a lot of myths have been, let's say, extinguished throughout this season in terms of what Nick Fury has accomplished by himself. Maybe he didn't really accomplish these things by himself.
Yeah.
He had a lot of help.
Yes.
So I think what's also happened for me is that some of the aura of Nick Fury has extinguished a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen that he has a wife now, for instance, that we didn't really know before. And whatever, a lot of you might, think that's far-fetched or that's silly or whatever, but it's changed our perception, it's changed the way we see and think about Nick Fury, which is quite interesting. So yeah, there's a lot for us to talk about in terms of the overall review of this series. But for now, we're going to react to the finale. I'm not even going to try to guess.
No.
What do you think?
No, I think we just watch it and then we can give our kind of review of the whole piece.
For sure.
Of the body of work. I am liking this, seeing Nick Fury, seeing him more humanized, and turns out he didn't separate his work and personal life as much as we all thought he might have.
No. Yeah, we're going to talk about Gravik. We're going to talk about all the characters as well and their sort of rationale behind doing what they're doing, and also talk about how well written these characters are, how believable they are. And so we're going to talk about loads of things, guys, but for now, I'm ready to react. I'm ready to watch this, talk about this with you guys and explore this. So yeah, are you ready?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Season finale.
Episode 6, and it's called Home.
It's called Home.
Okay.
Let's get it.
It's the promise. While you work to keep my home safe, Carol Danvers and I will find you.
That's the promise.
You're telling me there's 1 million Skrulls walking amongst us right now?
Wow.
Single commander, whose war power is total and unchecked. Therefore, I know
extremism,
the Skrull general.
and he's killing his own people indiscriminately. You're nameless and faceless to him.
If I'd been my true self.
The Skrulls aren't even homogenous. They all have different
Of course.
plans and ideas of how.
What DNA did Roberts?
Only a few samples, but he took those because he couldn't find what he was looking for.
What was he looking for?
Something he called
The Harvest.
I got a deal for you.
Buffy.
Come in person. I'll go over
Oh yeah,
Bring some iodine pills.
we'll come back to Buffy.
Afternoon can be
October.
blessed.
Everyone loves watching Buffy in October.
Let's see what Nick Fury's got in store. Just weird to see him in love in that sort of vulnerable place, Fury.
Yes. It's almost like he's saying goodbye. And she's like, you don't need to do this if you don't want to.
Do you think he can't die in this?
No.
No.
Maybe that's why people didn't like it. If that's what was happening.
All right. He's dead, but there's no one inside. I guess. Where did he just come from? From behind the tree, you know?
Oh, he's at New Skrulls. That's in Russia, isn't it?
President Vladimir has strenuously denied responsibility.
Oh, he strenuously denied it.
There you go.
Okay.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
How do people know that's not Rhodey?
What are we looking at here, Colonel Rhodes?
The Russian tanks taking positions on the Finland and Ukrainian borders.
Oh, that didn't age well at all.
Ooh,
There's your proof. right there.
proper forcing the issue, isn't it, Rhodey?
Make the
Yeah.
call, Mr. President.
I'm all for holding Russians accountable, but not when they didn't do it.
Yeah, he's just got in there too easily.
Oh. But did he took out all his people and left? Or took out the
It
people?
looks like it. Wow.
What?
Yeah, but we saw that, didn't we, in the last episode when he's killed all those
Oh,
people.
but it's just seeing them all there, like, you're just like, why did you do all this for? You killed your own people.
That is terrorist.
Ugh.
He's claiming to help his people, but it's just anger, hatred.
Generational trauma, it's
Yeah.
displacement. There's
All
a
these-
righteous anger there, but it's being implemented horrifically wrong. Immorally.
Is it the fumes and stuff?
Yeah, because I think they went and took over like a nuclear site, so
Radiation.
but because they're immune to it and they're chilling. My girl's gonna help out here. Oh, but he stayed.
Is it him though?
To the last stand of the great Nick Fury. We're moving the president upstairs.
Why is he scared of Nick Fury when he can just jump in War Machine?
I wonder if War Machine would be able to tell. She'd be like, "You're not ready."
Is that how it works? Maybe.
No, I don't, I'm just guessing, making stuff up.
Let's face, this was the first human I killed. You know why I killed him?
Wow.
I killed him because you told me to.
And everyone I killed took a little piece out of my heart. You put us out to work for you, and when you were done with us, you threw us away.
Wow. That's the immigration story. That's the story of a lot of people.
I'm gonna take a flamethrower
Around the
to
world.
humanity. Look at me. You did this. All the bombs and the blackouts and the massacres and the wildfires and the imminent removal of humans from their habitat. That is all you.
Yeah, humans aren't
You
trustworthy.
really should have kept your promise.
You're right. Because it's easier to save the lives of 8 billion people than it is to change their hearts and minds.
Wow. Tolerance, like you said, we're not very.
Yeah, because we have to be. Tolerance is not even a nice word. It's like, I'll tolerate you. We accept you,
You know,
appreciate you.
The shows that touch real political stuff, like Falcon and Winter Soldier and stuff like this, deep
I
political,
wasn't brave.
people don't like it. People want to be in the clouds when it comes to Marvel. They don't want realism too much,
You know why I came back?
or a mirror to be reflected in front of them of society. They don't like it.
That you and your team collected.
Carol Danvers. Do you think that's really it, or it must be? I think it is.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. Good president, you know.
You can't take the Secret Service agent hasn't
No,
got
he
a gun
hasn't
now.
got a gun.
But they're meant to just die for you, so. Oh.
It's pure.
Nick's not gonna jump in instead himself, is he?
It's Super Nick and absorb all the powers.
Because the thing when you said about the power between I don't know.
No buts, just yours back in the hallway.
She's silly. That's like her
Move
personality.
your
the
ass
actress.
back to the hallway.
So they're both gonna get the powers.
Why didn't Gravik just take Fury out?
I reckon he probably thinks humans will just die if they're in there. They won't change.
Whoa.
Oh no. I was gonna say he looks more hulky-fied. Hulk is in it.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
okay.
you go.
Yes!
Hey! Yes, Fury!
This is why Nick didn't call the Avengers down. He's like, don't worry. Don't stop asking too many questions, okay?
I've got their DNA. I am the Avengers, literally.
It's her!
Oh, it's her!
Yes, okay. Gaia.
Gaia.
So she was faking that.
So she was facing. If I'm thinking, Fury would have died by now. How is he there? This in the radiation and this coughing. It's not. You know?
The brain wasn't braining. The brain was like, for me.
You killed my mother.
Hey, that CGI looks crazy.
That's give me what I want. Is that what I want?
Drax.
Yeah. That's Groot.
Groot.
Groot on one arm. Imagine you can just decide which one's more appropriate. Oh yeah, that all the people are stuck.
Whoa.
Didn't it take all of these guys a lot of time to figure out how to use their powers? But these guys have just got it.
Yeah, I guess.
That's not how like your colonel talks to you as a president. All of our enemies will be gone. That's so dramatic. That's not even.
Superhero landing.
There we go. Got the superhero stuff in the end.
You guys happy? You got this stuff. It's fun.
No,
Loads of lights and stuff flashing around. And...
They might not be happy because a woman and a black man got the powers, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Got that.
You joke. Ooh. Through your chest.
Oh wow. But will he heal?
Uh-oh. He would heal, right? No?
No.
So we're supposed to believe now there's a Skrull, essentially the strongest, stronger than everybody, because they have to. Whoa.
Ooh, I didn't like that. Even seeing that it was fake Rhodey, but I didn't like seeing Don Cheadle.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Maybe it's not over yet. Maybe he's gonna.
Can't
get
be
back up.
over. It's just like, whoa, maybe it is.
She's freeing everyone good. But all those people just been standing up for like 12 months. Like their legs are gonna be tired.
12 months. Yeah, maybe. For how long, right? No food or nothing.
Yeah. How do they keep them nourished?
Rhodey!
Oh, good, Don, you're back.
Ross!
Okay.
How long have you been in here?
How are you supposed to know that?
I'm all right. I've got you.
He needs a walking stick, doesn't he, to walk?
Can help.
The British Prime Minister. Because when you stand up and fight, and you fight.
You guys just breathing in that radiation, yeah?
Yeah.
We know who you are.
Oh no.
We know how to find you. And we will kill every last one of you.
This is not the right response
Wow.
at all.
No, it isn't.
You can't.
That is what I'm saying. One little terrorist, little organization doesn't represent all the Skrulls. What does that sound like to you?
I can take care of myself.
I know that, but you shouldn't have to.
For me, some of their scenes have been some of my favorite scenes in the whole show.
I love
That's true. That's what. Did you fall in love with us or the music, the culture that we bring?
You can find a way to forgive me. You know where to find me.
This was very quick though. I thought this was gonna be harder for them to do.
Yeah. That's why I don't think it's done. She keeps asking the same question. Do you love me? He loves her for green or human, whatever. He loves her.
And let me guess, you're doing this out of the kindness of your heart?
God, no, don't be silly.
And women cutting through it and saying how
Business.
it is.
Yeah, let's just do this.
But that it doesn't take away the fact that Talos and Nick, they did build something on friendship and love and compassion. That's still important. You need both. But you don't always need them at the same time.
Till I watched that hateful ass speech you made.
Yeah.
But we have to act now.
Wow.
Hit squad you inspired. Kill off the Skrulls who still want to help us.
Oh no.
Wow.
Dumbass vigilantes killing innocent humans too.
Yeah.
If you truly care about the Skrulls, get them off my planet.
My planet.
Your planet.
Oh, we ain't learned nothing.
It's not our planet. We're here by the grace
But this
of
is
whatever.
humans. This is what happens. This whole show's like a mirror. And this is how humans are. We're not serious. What's this?
Is he going back up to the ship? He's going to call the Avengers. We never learn.
Yeah, this is mirroring.
Humans do the
This is
same
mirroring
over and
what's
over and
happening
over.
right now, fully.
America.
The reaction to a terrorist isn't to kill all the people. It's to go after the terrorists.
Please, come with me.
I don't understand why Why can't we see ship? It's always some darkness and some lights and stuff. Oi. Kiss her now.
She's still pretty.
That I love you as I am.
Only as you are.
There you go.
Yes.
Yay. Yay.
That's nice. He was trying to tell you he loved you for you.
See? This can happen. If you can love your dog and your cat and your animals, then, you know.
Are the Kree the people...
Yes.
Yeah.
The bad guys. That Carol Danvers was helping before she turned on them.
Okay, so they left it like there could be a season 2. Or not.
There's no post-credit scene.
Oh.
Doesn't look like it. Has the last episode been shorter than the previous ones? For the season finale, just off the back, just for the season finale, I think it's slightly under-delivered in terms of content.
It's a bit undercooked.
How it wrapped up, the Skrulls were found out, Gravik was found out, and all the things that were supposed to happen, I guess, happened, but it happened very quickly.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like the struggle that I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it was very quick.
Yeah.
What do you think? Just off the back, without gathering your thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit quick. But then sometimes I've definitely wondered when people are fighting, I'm like, come on, man. Sometimes you can just fight someone one time and you can win.
Yeah,
and they don't have to keep coming back, and they don't have to keep getting up, and they don't have to, especially if you're matched with exactly the same powers and you just happen to use them in a better way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's when something follows a pattern for so long and it breaks away from that pattern, you're like, whoa, this is, you know, do I like this or do I not like this? But then it's like different. It's just different. Let's talk about it, man. That was it. We've watched it. There's a lot for us to talk about. We're going to gather our thoughts and we're going to,
Get into it.
get into it. We're going to talk about the whole season as a whole, what we thought. Like I said, bring up the themes, bring up the topics. Off the back, we've enjoyed this last episode, but as you can tell from the way we're talking, we have already a bit of reservation with regards to this last episode. For me, this episode, the finale, it could have been better. For me, it could have been better. What I did like about the finale, though, I like the beginning bit. I like the fact that we didn't know it was Nick Fury. Or it wasn't Nick Fury. It was actually Gaia pretending to be Nick Fury as a Skrull. And I think that little switcheroo was quite good to see. I thought that was quite fun. I enjoyed the conversation that Nick Fury had with Gravik.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting that it wasn't Nick Fury having the conversation. It was Gaia, technically speaking. But I believe once you become someone else as a Skrull, you take their memories a little bit or something. So maybe Gaia had Nick Fury's memories in order to have that conversation with Gravik. And for me, one of my issues with Gravik as a character was that I didn't fully believe his hate. I didn't really buy into it as much because I didn't understand where it came from. Yes, I know that Nick didn't fulfill his promise, but everyone else saw that differently. Yeah. But this one person's got really angry and wanted to essentially become a terrorist because of it. He wanted to take things into his own hand and essentially destroy the Earth and make the Earth the planet for the Skrulls.
Yeah.
So that leap from where he was, from where we saw him as a child to where he is now, I couldn't join the dots. I couldn't see the progress. So the conversation that he had with Nick Fury in this episode where he says, listen, I killed a lot of people. I was a young when I killed this man who had a family for you. And I killed many more for you, only for you to not only not fulfill your promise, but go away and go missing. Even though, you know, the blip happened.
Yeah.
But go missing for a while. So I think that conversation was quite interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was powerful how, I mean, from my perspective, psychologically, choosing to stay as your first kill, choosing to live that trauma every day to remind yourself. I don't know if he originally changed himself to look like that, to hold on to the fact that, to hold on to his humanity, to be like, don't forget you're killing people, or if he did it to make it so that he numbs himself eventually to actually be able to do that act, which clearly worked because he was killing his own people too. Which means you've gone far when you're ready to, when you're killing your own people. You've gone far.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I think I said before, the difference between him and Talos, for instance, throughout the whole series, for me, is it Talos? Am I pronouncing it right?
Taylor, they say Taylor.
Talos. He never wanted to kill his people. Even when Nick Fury had a gun to the Skrull's head in one of the first or second episode, he said, "No, we don't want to kill any Skrulls. There's only 1 million of us.
Yeah.
We're all refugees." He wants to protect life.
Yes.
Whereas Gravik got to the stage where he says he wants to help his people, but he's ready, as you can see in episode 5, to kill his people, his own people, if necessary. And those, two leaders, in a way, both opposites in their moral codes and their ethics. So that's quite interesting. I liked, like I said, there was issues with Gravik's character for me, and that scene helped me understand him a little bit more. I think it was needed. Nick Fury, for me, did well. I liked Samuel Jackson's performance in this, especially the last episode. I think the last scene where he kissed his wife in her natural form.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. And I think they're trying to show us a lot here.
Yeah.
A lot here. Listen, my are you in love with me? Or are you in love with this? How deep is your love? Is your love? How deep is your love? Where does it transcend to? And I think that was powerful. What was quite interesting in this episode is that, as we kept saying throughout, this is a reflection of society, a reflection of even what's happening right now. It's a reflection. The way that the president got the information he received, and he managed to go in a whole different direction. Let's exterminate these Skrulls because of these few individuals that want to do harm.
Yeah.
That response, for me, is a normal response that we see around the world. You're all like this. If one of you is like this, then you're all like this. Label everyone with the same brush. And I think
it's a normal response, but it's actually extremism.
Oh, very much so.
It's extremism.
Very much so.
But we've normalized it, or world leaders have.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, the scene with the MI6 agent and Gaia towards the end. And I've been doing my own reading recently about women leaders versus male leaders. And it's not about actually pitting us against each other. It's just we tend to lead differently based on the way we're socialized. So I thought I loved their conversation when it was like, listen, these guys, they form their relationship based on compassion, love, and friendship, brotherhood. We're going to use each other and we're going to help each other.
It's interesting.
They broke it down into like a business type relationship, which is what most of society would probably say. That's actually more how men do business. But we can see from the way that all beings will have emotions. Look how world leaders respond, including in this show. It's, you've hurt me, so I'm going to eradicate you. I'm going to wipe. That's not nuanced at all. That is just really polarizing. So yeah, that I liked that it did that, but it was really quick. It was like, here we go. I think because of that speech from the president, I don't think they should have left it like that. I think they needed to give us a bit more, because actually what they've left it like, and maybe it's more because of the real world context right now, but it feels a bit hopeless and a bit like, oh my gosh, so they went through all of that and now they're seen as enemies of the world, not just the state.
It makes, I think that's also the problem with the ending. It makes sort of Gravik's position it make more sense now.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, cool. Now they're the enemies of the world, and the president's it's going around trying to kill them all, and that is resulting in innocent people dying. So it's like the situation is much worse rather than better, to the point where now Nick Fury at the end is saying, you know what, the Creed, is it the Creed?
The Creed is going to go and try and make peace talks to get them home.
To get them home. So it's like, what? So it's all that could have been avoided, you know? So it's and you said you spent years trying to find him a home, but within this show, you found out that the Kree want to talk. So there might be a home. So there are issues with the show. There are consistency issues with the show. And if now we're going to move away from talking about the episode and let's talk about the show. Yeah. Let's talk about the show as a whole. Let's talk about some of the themes that we said we're going to bring up. For instance, refugees and immigrants. We've been speaking about this for the whole show, and that is essentially what the show is centered around.
Yeah.
That is the theme. These people are refugees. These people have escaped their planet, escaped genocide almost.
Yes.
Well, technically they have.
Yeah.
And they've come here. And that is, once again, real life. We live in a planet where that happens all the time. And I think, for me, the less empathy you have of that situation, the less empathy you have for those sort of causes, maybe the less involved, the less empathy you have while watching this. And the more you probably won't care,
Yeah.
you know,
Potentially,
emotionally invest in this. Maybe that's something that we can explore.
I agree with you. The theme around, I guess, taking it to the next step is around like assimilation and like what they ask us to do. If you're immigrants or refugees, it's like, come wherever you go to and please remove most or all of your identity and try and conform to the social and cultural identities of your new home. I think there was a scene in the show and I didn't like it. It made me actually pissed off when Nick said the hosts get to determine the rules or the status for you as a refugee or whatever. And I feel like
it's kind of true.
It's true, but there's a way like you
say
don't
it.
just get to dictate what we're going to keep you in cage. No. It has to be humane. It has to be like compassionate. But I think the whole thing, it leads into that about tolerance, because even that scene in the train when Nick was talking to Taylor saying, humans, we haven't even figured it out. We kill each other. We genocide each other. We still don't have nuanced conversations. It's you're this or you're that.
Yeah.
You're for this person or you're for that person. You're for this
No
country
grey,
or
no
for
nuance. We're not intelligent enough. There's not to handle nuance. Most people
emotional intelligence.
Yeah,
I think we've got a lot of practical intelligence, but not emotional intelligence in humanity. And I mean, that's why we watch these shows. These shows are meant to help us also talk about things. So I liked the fact that they centered some of the conversations around the realness of it.
Yeah.
And you could be. I was angry at Nick for saying that, but he's not going to think exactly like me.
It's real, and with the language around refugees, especially in this country,
Yes,
you know, with our political leaders, and the language with regards to Mexicans, you know, and going across the borders in the United States, I understand why a lot of people would watch this and not like it, because it's all you got to do is replace the Skrulls with any other culture or any other people.
any other oppressed or marginalized.
And as I said, not a lot of people want to be good, want to accept refugees, so this might not land with many people. Let's be honest. That is a theme that runs through this. That is real, is tangible, and if you watch Marvel to escape those things, and now we were seeing Marvel shows that bring those things to life, there's no way you can't run away. Your bigotry can't hide.
No,
it will be exposed. Whether you watch She-Hulk and you hate women or whatever it is, your bigotry will be exposed eventually. And plus, not all of these shows are for everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Just because you like Marvel brand doesn't mean you have to like everything in Marvel. Well, I think people know that, but still, when you're watching the show, you're like, why have they done it this way, or why have they not done it that way? This show, for a lot of people, when you're talking about bigotry and confronting things, let's be real, this show centers a black male lead, and one of the other, I guess they call the protagonist or the antagonist character, Rhodey, he's also a black male. So it was centering...
And the bad guy, like you said, the
antagonist is
mixed race.
The actor's mixed race. So there are some people who are going to be watching this show, and because you might not be able to see yourself in the lead characters, you might not be able to identify as much. And we've commented on that before. And even when we watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, a lot of you guys were saying the same thing. And there was so much dialogue going on about people saying, I can't understand, I can't relate. And people saying, I absolutely can relate.
Yeah.
But just because you can't relate doesn't mean the lived experience isn't true. Yeah. So it's about all of that.
Yeah, some people just don't have empathy. They can't, unless they see themselves, they can't feel anything. And to be honest, it's more, when you think of that, you're thinking more sort of, in terms of politics, when I think of right-wing versus left, I think of right-wing, people who vote right-wing, and I'm generalizing here massively, I am, have less empathy of the world. They think more inwards about themselves and, lowering my tax and small state, whatever, where people usually on the left-hand side of politics think about the world, think about others. They want everyone to be happy. They want immigrants to be happy. And, they're more compassionate, they have more empathy.
Yeah.
So that I'm generalizing here massively, like I've said. But this is a show about superheroes, so power is a big theme in this. For instance, the powers of the Avengers. How did he get that? You know, why did he want that power?
That's what I find interesting, is that there were so many layers about power, not just the superpower itself, but like Nick said, my power is my brain that my mum gave me.
For sure.
And it's also about like, how much power do I take? How much do I need? How much do I want? Gravik, my understanding is that he really ultimately wanted the harvest. I don't know if he was just going to wipe out the planet and not care, because he just wanted the power. The power.
He disguised his sort of help for his people with thirst for power. It's almost as if really what he really wanted was power.
Which is understandable,
He
right?
didn't really want to help his people. Not really. So
people who want power are usually people who feel powerless. And he was, as a child, he was a refugee. His family, he was an orphan.
yeah, his parents had died, and he was left by himself alone.
That's another theme. Orphans.
That's
something that
superhero movies, superheroes. That orphan story, that traumatic origin story for every sort of superhero is like common.
Yes.
It's normal. And we all understand it. We all have sympathy for it. But in real life, we don't.
Yeah, just because you're an orphan, you're not going to get away with doing certain crime. No.
Yeah. In real life, we wouldn't have any sympathy. We don't have too many sympathy.
No, because people aren't adopting orphan kids like it's normal every day. No. That's what I find interesting. I've seen some think pieces and articles, and just psychologically, just coming back from my profession, my industry, picking someone as an orphan to build your story off of helps to keep that character and the viewer in this sort of childlike, parentified state, because you're thinking, I don't have parents and I'm looking for belonging and I'm looking for the self. But it's also quite immature. Like, you've got to move beyond that. They're not just an orphan. They grow and they become adults, and you've got to take responsibility and accountability. But they're all still just living off of their traumas from young. Not resolving them in healthy ways.
No. Which is interesting, because we complain that a lot of our leaders are just heavily traumatized people.
Yeah. That's what I was saying before, when it makes sense, Gravik, to go for power, being powerless. Those leaders who you might think they're not powerless, but they felt powerless at some stage. Old Bojo, he felt he became a sort of funny clown to also counteract feeling, not seen, not listened to.
I think the show did a good job of us feeling that there's high stakes, because nuclear bombs, World War, and all these things.
Yeah.
With an enemy that we've seen, or an enemy that we used to be friends, which is the Skrulls, that have been here for a long time.
Yeah.
And the feeling that a Skrull could be anybody and all these things. So I think they did that well, because a lot of times you're guessing like who's a Skrull and who's not a Skrull. They did that well for me.
Yeah, they did. I agree, because there was a few ones we didn't clock, or I didn't clock. So it was a good surprise.
Yeah. Rhodey being a Skrull. I like Rhodey's performance.
Yeah. I did enjoy that. But I almost guessed immediately, because I just felt like Don, that's not how he normally plays. He does play Rhodey in a cheeky way.
Yeah.
But some of the things he was saying, I'm like, Rhodey's much more compassionate than that and much kinder. Yeah. So something was up.
They flushed out Nick Fury's character a little bit more. As I said before, we get to see that he's married now, and he's married to a Skrull. And I can see why a lot of people would be like, what? All this time Nick Fury's been married, and all these Avengers movies and series, it's never really been mentioned or highlighted. So that's quite interesting for me. Yeah. I don't mind it because, he hasn't mentioned it because he doesn't want anyone to know. That's all. So, but I could see why other people would be like, that's a bit weird. You just inserted this. Well, is there a continuity issue here? Is there a consistency issue here? I don't know. But I didn't mind that. The struggle, another theme, the struggle, which is similar to the immigration, which is struggle of oppressed people, which is what the Skrulls are.
Yes.
Their struggle, and how they navigate that struggle with the world and with humanity in question. Yeah. And how they're accepted or not accepted, and how they have to hide and that kind of thing, and change who they are. That, once again, I reckon might make some people uncomfortable, but it's just real. And the realer for me, the realer Marvel get in their stories, for me, the better their stories become. Something I can touch, something I can grab. Because I do want to suspend my belief, of course, and see people fly and have all these crazy things happen.
Yeah.
But I also want to be grounded in realism.
Yeah. That's why, like, storytelling, that's the point of storytelling. As humans, we've always told stories to express, to create, to grieve, to commune.
It's a good way to sort of pull together different ideas and themes into one. Hiding who you are, which is a consistent theme throughout that. You know, once again, Theory hiding that he had a wife.
Yeah.
They're always hiding, changing their
faces,
changing their faces. Tired of running, as they say, tired of trying to code switch. I guess we can relate it to society, code switching, trying to pretend to be someone else when you're at your job. Many of us act differently. We feel like we can't act or be ourselves in certain societies, and that is stifling. It's frustrating. It's degrading. After a while, it will start chewing on your self-esteem. You then forget who you are. So, yeah, I think it is also important, once again, for society's problems like that to be reflected in a show with green aliens. And if you can't see the resemblance to modern society, then
You missed it.
You missed it.
I think the whole thing about masks and faces, like, as a neurodivergent people, we mask a lot to try and conform to what is like socially acceptable in society. It's that a similar thing to code switching, but not the same thing, because the racial element is not at play. And it's so important to understand that masks, which I think they showed really well in this show, the different kind of masks even the humans were wearing.
Yep.
In one role you play this role, in another kind of room you're a different person. So it's quite relatable that I think any and all people could have found something in this show that would have spoke to them or resonated for them, or maybe annoyed you or frustrated you, but that's for a reason, because either it touched a nerve or it just wasn't making sense for you. So, which often Marvel can do. It touches nerves and sometimes doesn't make sense.
Corruption.
Yeah.
Corruption.
There was a lot of corruption.
I mean, technically,
corrupting of ideas.
Yeah. Corruption in just in the fact that the Skrulls have infiltrated government. Just corruption in that sense as well, isn't it?
Yeah. One of the themes that which may have been less noticeable, but it was there all the way through, was like legacy and what do you want your legacy to be. So I really enjoyed some of the scenes between Gaia and her father, Talos, talking about, first her finding out about her mother being dead, which is really sad. But then also talking about like, well, what legacy do you want to leave? Do you want to be someone like Talos, or do you want to be someone like Gravik?
Yep.
And then the same when you're thinking about like the humans. What kind of legacy do you want to leave, Mr. President? Do you want to be the person who gives that it's us or them speech, or do you want to be that person who's like, actually, we might have done some things historically, there's lots of other contexts, how can we stop this, how can we solve this together? Kind of elevating everyone rather than marginalizing people. So the legacy stuff is really important.
And you could legacy / history as well.
Yeah.
We spoke up about, we saw history of refugees, histories of immigration. We spoke about Brixton down the road from where we are as well, and the history there. So legacy of this issue of refugees and immigration has happened, or the history of it is wide. It's we've always moved around the planet.
Yeah.
We've always moved, hence why there are different races all over the world. Movement of people is just what's always happened. So it's interesting to also understand just the legacy of that, and how that sort of is reflected in this show, and how we could see modern society through the lenses of this show.
Yeah. Very close. It was cutting very close. There were scenes, I'm probably have to bleep this bit, but you know what I'm talking about when we're talking about Russia and Ukraine. That's a real thing. That's I said it was like, wow, that did not age well.
It didn't age well, yeah. A lot of the themes are very, very close to real. And you're right, didn't age well, but at the same time you could argue aged well.
Aged well because I mean, the world's been thinking that something was going to happen for a long time, but it's interesting. I think as well, the sort of the showing of the people taking things into their own hands towards the end. Like,
yeah, people doing
proper terrorist acts. I think yeah, it's really interesting to see that in a like Marvel universe when it's also literally happening on Earth at the same time in our lives. So it's this show, the timing of it's interesting.
Yeah, the show's a bit heavy.
Yeah.
The topic is heavy. It's triggering. It can be polarizing for some people, but for me, I enjoyed it. For me, it's like I don't want to be bored. I don't want to watch 100 Spider-Man movies. As I said before, I don't want to watch the same thing over and over again. So when I'm getting, I don't know, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and then WandaVision, or I'm getting She-Hulk, then I'm getting this show, then I'm getting Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
All of those shows are different,
Yeah.
right? So you cannot sit there and say Marvel are giving you the same thing because they're literally trying to tailor for all different types of people. So, and you're not going to like everything. At the end of the day, not everybody has every single comic.
No.
Do you have every comic? No, you don't. You don't like every comic. So why would you watch every Marvel show?
Yeah.
Every Marvel show is not for you. There's some shows that are for 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
There's some shows that are for 25-year-old women. There's some shows that are for flipping men. You got to tailor your shows for different audiences and tailor your comics for different audiences. And if your brain isn't malleable, movable, you don't have empathy, if you can't appreciate different things, if your brain can't, well, you don't like this word, if your brain isn't tolerant, then you're going to dislike a lot of things.
I mean, you have to start with tolerance.
I've tried to be open-minded when I watch these shows and appreciate difference.
Yeah.
And saying, and difference is not necessarily bad. It's just, some things can just be different and that's it. It's just different. Is it good or is it bad? No, not everything has to be good or bad. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's the same, but just different, you know? So yeah, I enjoy this. Like I said, tolerance is a heavy theme as well throughout this. And I think we've spoken about tolerance already throughout this review, but it's also a heavy theme. A lot of people died in this show.
Yeah,
you know?
we have to say goodbye to some characters.
Yeah. Talos.
Giving him a new name.
Yeah.
And Agent Hill. Which I haven't watched the Marvel series really, the ones that like the serialized ones she's been in, but I know that she was a major part across like the entire Marvel universe. So I'm actually shocked they decided to kill her off.
Was it the first episode as well?
It's the first episode she died, yeah.
Yeah. I'm very surprised that she died in the first episode. She's been around, like you said, since I think the first Avengers.
Yeah,
maybe,
a long time. Maybe she's done. She's like, I need to. They can always bring her back and say she was a Skrull in the future.
I know there's a lot of conversation about, like I said, the intro. I don't mind the intro, guys. I know it's long and it's green, but I like it. I think it's creative.
Yeah, I do like it. I don't mind AI when it's being used in certain ways, but I do understand there's a lot of problems with it. I'm an AI beta tester as well.
I love Sonia. Is that her name, Sonia?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sonia. Yeah, she was gold from our neck of the woods. Yeah, she was light.
I want to know that scene. Who decided Stormzy was going to play in the car? Did she decide it, or did the director? Who decided? Because she said, "Yes, we're absolutely doing this.
We're absolutely doing this."
She like everyone in the UK knows who Stormzy is. Like he's one of the British icons. Like so, yeah, Stormzy, you made it. You're in Marvel movies. Series now. Yeah, her character, it added that, like you said, that right amount. It was light, but she was doing some deep stuff. She brought a little sort of. She reminds me of the one with purple in her hair.
Fontaine.
Yes, Dufontaine or whatever her name is.
I enjoyed it. What would you give it? Are you gonna rate it now, or? Yeah,
just before I rate it, I wanted to say one thing. I wanted to say a special mention to the character Beto.
Oh yes, Beto.
Samuel Adewumi. I hope I said his name right. We've seen him in a few other shows recently, and he is one to watch. And I think
my man.
Googled him, and he won, I think, at the British Independent Award, most promising newcomer, and it makes sense. He is such a versatile actor. I highly, strongly recommend you check out everything he's ever been in. So yeah, you said about rating.
Yeah,
I definitely think it's higher than a 6 than what IMDb is saying. It's a 7. It's a good solid 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give it that. Like I said, it's not perfect. It could have been better. The justifications for some of the things that the characters did could have been fleshed out a bit more. But it was a change. It was a good change. It was something different than what we've seen previously. And all of these shows, and not everyone's liked them, but I've enjoyed them because they've all been different.
Yeah.
I said to you at one point that I was a bit tired of the Avengers thing, and because the Avengers movies all follow a pattern. Bad guy comes, they can't defeat it, then they join up, then they argue, then they join up again, then they argue.
The moral dilemma.
And then they eventually defeat it. Which, I mean, you could argue it's followed a similar pattern, but it's just it's a different story. It's a totally different story. Different issues. Like I said, more tangible issues, more relatable issues. So we can have more of these type of human discussions.
Yeah.
We can critically think about things as well, and just go a bit deeper into, like I said, the themes than just talk about how good the fighting was or something like that. So
that's the evolution of Marvel. Like when I think back to when I first watched those first Marvel movies, it's all like, hey guys, we're gonna do the day, and it's very like that. If you go back to like Friends type humor with that, we're moving beyond that now, and I like to see it diversify. My ADHD likes that. My ADHD doesn't want to be boxed into one thing, so I like that there's loads of different stuff going on. I don't have to like the stuff that's going on, but I like that there's difference.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think and I've said this many times, when we say we want something different, what we really want is the same thing with only like 2% different. We want it to be 98% the same with only just 2% different.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We don't want fully different, because if it's too different, we're like, oh my God, what are we watching? I don't like, it's just, our brain won't know how to compute it. So yeah, like I said, I would give it 7. Yeah. 7 out of 10. Maybe a 7.5 out of 10. Ooh. It was a good show. I enjoyed it.
Let me ask you this. Compared to the first season of Loki, and we're going to watch Loki season 2, which we're very excited for. I think this is on the same level as first season of Loki in terms of how interesting it was.
Ooh.
I think so.
I think we...
For me, personally.
Okay, I understand for you. For me, I think this creates more conversation for me than Loki does.
Yes.
But Loki's interesting because Loki's about time.
True.
And time travel and all of these things, and that and forth, that different dimensions and whatnot. And that to me is fascinating because that is real, but also it's science, but it's real fiction. We haven't the fourth dimension, we haven't figured it out.
So
it's yet, so it's that intrigues me because that's territory that it's territory that's always interests people. But I hear what you're saying.
Maybe it's because
they interest me in different ways.
Yes, that's fair. And maybe it's because we keep on seeing, well, you keep on running into him all the time now, your new friend. So it's just breaking the barriers. We see Tom. I was gonna say Tom Holland. What's his name? It's not Tom H something.
Hiddleston.
He does charity football events. So to us, he's just Tom.
We've seen Tom Hiddleston around.
He lives near here.
Around the area a few times, and
with his wife.
With his wife. So that's the thing in London. When we see people get excited over the actors that we just see. Yeah. Like Henry Cavill lives up in North London somewhere. Yeah. Like, and you've seen him a few times.
Henry Cavill's from Finchley. Okay? Yeah. We used to go to the same, the place you make those characters and you build the worlds.
I hope we've done it justice. I hope we've flushed out a lot of things.
I think so. I think if you are from the show, you will like this, what we've talked about, because we have really thought about what you tried to do and how you tried to make it land. And we appreciate you. And I think one thing I always wanted to say...
Gravik's accent, I don't know what his accent
was. Was he Welsh? I had to look him up because I thought he was Welsh. But he's not, he's from Barnet.
His accent was like, is he London? It was all over the place, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, but maybe it was, I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know what the vocal coach was telling him, but it wasn't no Damson Idris level, but it was okay.
Leon!
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do, Leon?
Get the dough.
Get the dough.
Family. He did well. The family.
Family.
Yeah, man. That's South London, yeah.
These black British male actors, we're taking over. We're taking over Hollywood. I know Samuel Jackson did a video a couple of years ago and saying, how comes all these black, how comes all Daniel Kaluuya's, John Boyega and Chiwetel Ejiofor and
Damson
Idris and all these guys just taking over? It's because we can do the American accent better than you.
Yeah. And we can be more versatile.
We more versatile.
Let's say you're from the South, right?
You
Actually, I can't even say the South because there's so many states. But if you suddenly like go from a "Hi, my name is Jennifer" to suddenly be like, "Listen, don't talk to me like that. I'm not gonna deal with you. I'm not." I don't think it's easy for you.
We can mimic your accent.
We
all
grew up
accents
on you guys
very well, so that's why.
In fact, when you see my girl who's in the other Marvel shows, yes, I'm the sister of Natasha Romanoff. What's the name of the sister?
Pugh.
It's very easy for Florence Pugh to talk like this, like a Russian.
Florence Pugh.
You can. I know I do not sound Russian. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Our acting school, especially some of the Shakespearean schools that we go to, just gives us sometimes a different edge to our acting than
I've heard a few people say that.
than Americans have. So,
but it's kind of rooted in elitism, though, isn't it? Those old school.
But
we don't make the rules.
Look at Tom Hiddleston and all these rich guys who went to Eton, and now
they went to Eton with Boris Johnson,
and now everyone loves him because he has a English accent. Oh my god, I love his English. I love his posh. Yes, Tom. No. It is what it is. Like I said, we had fun. I hope you had fun listening. Give us your opinion.
Yes.
Weigh in on the conversation. We've spoken about a lot of things.
Yeah, and I'm not going to cut a lot out.
Yeah, some of it you're going to agree with, and some of it you're going to strongly disagree. And if you do, respectfully,
let us know.
Let us know. That is all.
And also let us know would you like a season 2 of this, or are you like, nah, I'm good. I know Marvel's going to change it up now and stop doing these individualized serials. So something like this over like a proper season run, like a whole 9 months, could have been very intriguing.
Yeah, I feel like the last episode was a bit rushed as well. Comment below. Let us know what you want us to watch. We're going to watch Loki.
Yes.
We've still got The Mandalorian, the last episode to do, to react to and review. We're coming back with a lot more material, guys. So stay tuned. Peace out, guys. We love. Comment below, share, like, subscribe, turn your notifications, all them things there, all them things. NeuroDivergent pair. Holla at your boy, holla at your girl. Peace out. A-Town down. L-Town.
No, not Austin Theory.
No.